Hey everybody, how's it going? Travel Man Dan here, and welcome to today's episode of Reading Man Dan. Today's episode is going to be a lot of fun as we go ahead and read and learn about a very special person. As today I read you the book, Who Was Martin Luther King Jr.? So sit back, relax, and get ready for a great episode. Let's go! Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by and checking out today's episode. If you're new to the channel and you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there, ring the notifications bell so you're notified when new episodes come out each and every week. Now today's a very special day because today is Martin Luther King Day, and it signifies the birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. So, happy birthday to Martin Luther King Jr., and let's go ahead and read the book and find out more of who he was. Who was Martin Luther King Jr.? Written by Lisbeth Kaiser, illustrated by Stanley Chow. Alright, we open up this little part, and right there is a little message from the author and the illustrator. It says, "For Alex, and every parent who teaches love, LK. For Winnie and Pearl, may your dreams one day come true, SC." That's really cool, I like that. Who was Martin Luther King Jr.? Martin's home was very happy. He had a big sister, a little brother, a father, and a mother, and they were all kind to one another. Martin was filled with love. Alright, I like the way this book opens up right away. We can see Martin and his family. He has a brother, a sister, and a mother and a father, and look how kind they are. They're just at a little dinner, hanging out, talking to each other, just being a real normal family, and I like to see that. And I love how, well, it expresses that they were kind to each other. Because let's not forget, kindness is so important. Martin also liked being at church. He learned to get along with everyone there, and he made many friends. Martin was filled with kindness. Alright, let's take a look. As we can see, looks like young Martin right there is shaking hands with the pastor. You can see maybe that's his mother and his sister. And you can see just in that picture how Martin is filled with kindness as he's smiling and shaking the pastor's hand. And he really likes being there at that church. At home and at church, Martin was taught to love everyone. But not everyone was taught to love him. One day, Martin's best friend said he couldn't play with him anymore because Martin's skin was a different color. Martin was black and his friend was white. In Martin City and in many other places, black people were treated unfairly. That is terrible. What a shame. Take a look at that. You can see Martin, he doesn't really quite understand what's going on. This is Martin's best friend, and he was told that he couldn't hang out. Imagine not being able to hang out with your best friend because their skin is a different color. Poor Martin. And his friends. What a bummer. I mean, just so upsetting. Let's find out what happened. It made him sad and sometimes angry. Martin wished that all people would be kind and fair to one another. He studied, and he learned, and he thought about how to change things. Wow, take a look, alright? Poor Martin, okay? He's a little bit older right there, and he's sad, and you know, he has every right to be angry. And he's reading, and he's studying, and he's learning. How can I make things better? What can I do to make things better so that all people are treated fairly and with kindness, and not because of the color of their skin, they're, looked upon differently, or not because they're different in general. It's mind-boggling that this even happened. But let's find out who Martin Luther King Jr. was. When Martin grew up, he became a reverend and an activist. He was a leader in his community. When he spoke, his words came from his big, strong heart and filled people with love and kindness. Wow, take a look, all right? Not only did Martin like church when he was younger, but he actually became a reverend and a leader in his community. And he had these big, strong words when he was on stage, and he would talk to everyone. And it filled people with lots of love and kindness when he spoke and brought across his message. Martin said that everyone should be treated fairly and that we should never hurt one another. That is such a powerful thing. I'm going to go ahead and read that one more time. Sit back and listen. Children, people around the world, please listen to this again. Martin said that everyone should be treated fairly and that we should never hurt one another. He said that we could change the world peacefully. All right, let's take a look. As you can see, and what a strong, powerful message from Martin Luther King, as he said, everyone should be treated fairly and no one should ever hurt another person. And we should go ahead and we should make change without hurting each other. Make it peaceful. Not everyone wanted things to change, but lots and lots of people agreed with Martin. Martin showed them that they could be brave and peaceful, even when they felt scared or angry. Together they worked to show everyone else that things needed to change. All right, take a look, okay? As you can see over here, you can see a lot of people did not want this change. These guys are angry. And look, this guy is actually a police officer, and these people are shouting. But look here, you know, I'm sure Martin Luther King Jr. and all these people here, they were scared, right? They were being brave and courageous and standing up to what needed to be changed. I mean, these people over here didn't like Martin and his friends over here just because of their skin color. That's it. And that is absolutely ridiculous. And I commend Martin Luther King Jr. for being courageous and standing up, because that's not an easy thing to do. And to do it peacefully is even harder because they're angry, right? You're going to be angry if somebody doesn't like you just on your skin color. But Martin Luther King was a pioneer at this. He stood up to this oppression and these angry people that didn't want change. And well, he did it peacefully. And let's find out a little bit more about him. One day, Martin gave a very big speech about his dream of freedom and justice for all. Many people were there to listen. Others watched him on TV. The world still remembers what he said. That's right. Take a look right here. Take a look at how many people are there at the Washington Monument. And Martin Luther King Jr. gives his famous speech. And that speech is still remembered to this day as one of the most powerful speeches ever given. Martin Luther King Jr. said this: "I have a dream that one day we will stand up for freedom together. All of God's children will be able to join hands and sing, 'Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are all free at last.'" Wow, it just gets chills just reciting just a smidgen of that speech. This is the speech right here. It is often referred to as the Martin Luther King Jr. I Have a Dream speech. And holy cow, what an epic speech it was. I mean, it's so powerful that he stood there and he said, you know, one day I hope that we are all God's children and we'll all be free. We won't be segregated because of skin color, and we will not be oppressed because our skin is a different color. And it's so important because back in the 1960s here in the United States, it was such a different time, and the change needed to happen. And for a man to get up there and give this amazing speech like Martin Luther King Jr. did, wow, unbelievable. And it'll go down as one of the most famous speeches ever given. And I really think that at that moment, change started to happen. As we look, and he said, you know, free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty. I hope that we are all free at last. That means everybody is free. Think about it. Think about it for a minute. It's a really powerful thing. And I don't know if you've ever been looked down upon for no reason, or pushed aside, or looked at as inferior because of your skin color, because of who you are, where you come from. But it's a very, very terrible thing. And Martin Luther King gave that speech that day and really brought everybody's attention and started this change. Every year, we celebrate Martin's birthday to remember what he did. On today, happy birthday, Martin Luther King Jr. He filled people's hearts. He worked hard for change. He made the world more fair. And he did it all because he loved people. Oh, let us sing of Dr. King, who stood for peace, who had a dream. That is awesome. And let's take a look. Let's take a look at this picture as everybody's singing and celebrating here today on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And you can see everybody is from a different place. Everybody looks different. Everybody's skin color is different in this photo. And that's what we're all about. That's what this world is about. And that's what I love about Martin Luther King Jr. is that he loved people. No matter what their skin color is, or no matter what their creed or their religion or what their beliefs in, he treated everyone fairly. And it's so important, even today in 2021, that you take this message from this children's book, or you go ahead and you watch the speech, or you read it yourself and start to understand this message and how powerful and how true his words were back then in the 60s. Man, we're still living out your dream, Martin Luther King Jr., and we're doing our best, each and every one of us, to treat each other fairly and to go ahead and give everyone an equal chance. And I love this about this. I love that each person looks a little bit different and they're singing, and we still praise Dr. Martin Luther King on today. And that is the end. Martin Luther King Jr. grew up in the South. He was born in 1929. When laws separated black people from white people and treated black people unfairly. Black children and white children had different schools. Black people had more rules and less freedom. As Martin grew up, he decided to fight for change. It was a peaceful fight. Martin led marches and protests. He made speeches. Many people listened to his words and joined his peaceful fight for justice and freedom. But Martin and his followers weren't treated peacefully. Many people were mean and violent to them, including police officers. It was hard and scary and very dangerous, but Martin never gave up. He spoke of a dream that all people could be treated equally. With his bravery and leadership, he helped change many laws to be more fair. In 1964, Martin was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for showing the world that you can make a powerful change and still be peaceful. Wow, what an amazing book that was, and what a wonderful story that was, as we found out more of who Martin Luther King Jr. was by reading this book. Who was Martin Luther King Jr. here on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That's going to do it for us today. I hope you saw something cool and fun in this book. Like how at a young age, Martin Luther King Jr. was happy and filled with love and kindness, and it carried throughout his entire life. I hope you learned something new and interesting about Martin Luther King Jr. Like how he was able to change the world through a peaceful approach, which eventually brought him in 1964 the Nobel Peace Prize. But most of all, I hope you were inspired to read this book yourself. Who was Martin Luther King Jr.? Or maybe watch this video again. Or just go ahead and find out as much as you can about Martin Luther King Jr., about what a magnificent man he was, what a game changer he was, what an important person, not just here in the United States, but throughout all the world, throughout all of history, how much of an impact he had on people around the world. What an amazing man, and I hope you enjoyed this story. If you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there. Ring the notifications bell so you're notified when new episodes come out each and every week. Go ahead and give me a like on this video. Drop me down a comment below. Let me know what you liked about this episode, what you liked about this book, or if you can suggest another book that I should read here on the Reading Man Dan Show. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching this episode. What an epic man Martin Luther King Jr. was today. Really celebrate his birthday and his life today. And thank you so much again for watching. I'm Travel Man Dan, aka Reading Man Dan. And remember, it's a big world out there. Make sure you see every bit of it.